Oh, okay, this is real. I can work with this. Yo, I don't even know, like, I can't even remember the names. I tried to do everything I was capable of doing that I could afford to do. The music was the thing that was the side hustle. Dancing was my girl like that. I was a ballerina. I was the head of the school choir. I'd get home at like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I was swimming. I had the best time in high school. I just wanted to be on stage. Okay, no Monday budget. Like fresh out the box. Oh yeah, this feels good. No! Oh yeah, no, that didn't work, but I tried it. I don't know the term. Y'all correct me. I know, but if we can top it up with... Yeah, I don't even know how to answer this question. This is like a lot. Okay, so...
Alright, we are back again. Episode 2 of Full Circle, a decade in the making with Bonga Kwana. Okay, was Buzamhlandi how a truly unique sound takes flight? Well, play episode yanamhlanje with Bonga Kwana. They will be taking a deep dive into the process of unearthing their distinctive voice and crafting that signature songwriting style, from those early lyrical scribbles to ultimately refining and forging the soulful sound that absolutely captivates us today. Prepare again to be inspired by the evolution of a true artist. We'll peel back the layers and explore the often unseen struggles, but also the glorious wins of finding that authentic artistic identity. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get into it.
Enough exposure will get you used to certain things. So, for example, I was exposed to the church choirs. And growing up in church, there's a certain spirituality that you tend to feel from a young age, even if you don't really understand the lyrics and where they come from, the words rather, and where they come from, but you feel it. So I think if there's anything that I think I could say it started influencing my style of writing, my way of communicating through music, it would be the church, it would be the musical influences that I grew up with. Nankuled Mamelu Ncandweni, Olundi, and you name them. So that was my influence. And then coming into learning about jazz music, my aunt introduced me to Letambulu's music. So all of these influences, they play their part, but I could definitely say the seed is a church, because the Kuliso on.
Can you share a story, and I'm pretty sure you haven't heard of those, an origin story behind writing your very first full song that made you realize, oh, okay, I can write something?
It was definitely Zwakazi. Zwakazi was the first song okay, let me not say like, that was the first full song I composed and I wrote. But obviously as a kid, uqamba ingoma, man. Like, uqamba ingoma on the spot, and it comes together, then you miss it, and then your cousins are like, yeah, no, it can't really. So I think the first time I had a product, something that I could say, oh yeah, no, this sounds like a song. It sounds legit. I wrote this. It was Zwakazi. And I wrote it, this is Lalin, I remember this one. That is Lalin, and I was just in my defiant era. I was in that era. And I was just like, and all of this stuff was just running in my head. But I have a background of poetry, so I have this ability to flow with words. And that flow with words then gets translated into flow with music as well. And so Zwakazi came to be. I had a lot of thoughts, I had a lot of poetic thoughts, and for the first time they made musical sense in my head. So I went ahead and I got a guitar, and then I went on YouTube. And I learned how to play the guitar on YouTube. Very, very, very elementary. But I got the job done because I was able to come out with 4 chords, and I strummed the living hell out of them. And out came Zwakazi. That was the first time I was like, okay, no. This is a thing. Yeah. I've got something going. Yeah.
Did you ever hit a moment where you felt a bit stuck in your writing?
I don't think so.
Or even coming up with a melody?
I don't think so, because I'm going to be very honest with you. I've never really had a block per se, unless I'm not feeling the music, unless I'm not feeling the song. But when I feel the song, the melody is going to locate me. I just think it would depend on what that arrangement is. Then absolutely there are days and there are some songs that I'm like, I feel like I can't write or contribute to the song lyrically or even vocally unless somebody comes through and they're like, hey, look, how about this? I think there's certain genres that I know can't really write to this like that. Maybe I can vocalize to it, but not saying I just think when a song locates me like that, it locates me like that, and it will flow. It will flow. It won't feel like I'm forcing things on that song. If it's the one, it's the one. If it's not,
You write your music, most of your music in Xhosa, and even the English ones, sometimes there's a bit of Xhosa here and there. And what does it mean culturally for you?
You know, ndingumXhosa waCentane, kulali yakwathi, don't stop. But that is something that reigns, Slung, runs very true. Runs very true to me and runs very deeply in my blood, ndingumXhosa. And having grown up eKapa, there's a lot of cultures that I've been introduced to, and now I live in Johannesburg. I'm met again with different cultures, different types of people from all over the place, different walks of life. And ukukhuliswa kwami eKapa exposed me to more than ukuba ngumXhosa. So I had, even from high school, I had to be intentional about learning Xhosa because the ability to erase Xhosa was so high. I went to a school that is Model C, so sifundiswa in English, and I communicate in English predominantly. So it's easy uba mandiphuncuka nesiXhosa, so I had to be intentional. And when I was in junior school, this Xhosa besifundiswa was third language, so we'd be identifying itafile, ibhayisekile, indondoni. That's the kind of Xhosa that we were taught in junior school. Now transitioning to high school, and Xhosa is first additional language. And we are shocked. So I think that intentionality to preserve culture came from that. Realizing that the kind of Xhosa I am exposed to and that it runs very deeply amongst amaXhosa aseKapa is elementary. It's not necessarily Xhosa sisiso, and it's very easy to lose it. So I think writing in Xhosa is me returning to that with intention. It's me coming back to myself with intention, and acknowledging where I come from. Centane idolop, and I come from Ilali that is undermined. No, this is a conversation. I will tell you why I'm passionate about this. Don't focus. But Centane is very undermined, and Eastern Cape as a whole, yeah, undermined. Nesxhosa said to say undermined. My intention to write in Xhosa comes from that it's so easy to slip off my roots. It's so easy. I'm exposed to so much, and the world again is so vast. So it's easy to just be like, no, it's not really cool to mandithethe Xhosa. Okanye ndibhale ngeXhosa esintsonkothileyo, for lack of a better word. It's easy to just write in Sabawell than it is to write in so many other things. There's nothing wrong with Sabawell. Okay, next question, please.
What language were you using with your family mostly, and did that influence the way that you write?
You know, Xhosa Sam, and the way that I was speaking and the kind of language I was speaking with my parents was predominantly English. And obviously ngizasithetha isiXhosa, and nokusithetha kwami isiXhosa had to develop over time. I had to get comfortable. There was a time when I couldn't write in isiXhosa until I was like, this is embarrassing. I can't afford to not write in my own language, and I can't afford to not speak in my own language. And abazali bam were communicating to me ngeXhosa, and obviously umXhosa noBongo like a dash of English here for good measure, but it was not them communicating with me in English. So I'm very happy for that, because you could tell also they were intentional about preserving a culture on our end. And even the way that they were communicating with us, teaching me Xhosa, that I should be communicating that. So it's something that I think I can thank them forever for, because they were intentional about that. And obviously that will translate in my writing. It will translate even in the way that I speak. Is cause you'd swear. You'd swear. So that also is preservation in that sense. And yeah, of course, that has an influence in the way that I communicate in Xhosa in this Centane.
Something that you got so wrong is crossing, and you were like, oh my god, and you had no idea. And
you are trying to.
And did that make you want to learn more about language and what words mean and how to use them and the right?
Yeah. No, you're trying to catch me. You're trying to catch me on personal information. No, there was a moment, a very embarrassing moment in grade 8. My mom tells the story like it's not okay. But I was in grade 8 and we were introduced to Xhosa Samanyana. And yeah, not itafile nezitulo nezidovo, no, esisethu. And kwakukumbuzo othi umntana owalekela amawele kuthiwa yintoni. And I dug deep trying to find inoba kuthiwa yintoni. And ibike yathethwa, obviously you're being tested on stuff because I can't remember. And I went for the deepest Xhosa word I could think of. It must be Ixakato. Ndafaka pa Ixakato. And boy was I wrong. And that like for weeks when I came home. At home. My teacher laughed it off. I mean, standard. But my parents, my family had a field day. They're still having field days about it even today. Uba mna ndafakwa kitest uba umntana owalekela. Iteka ndimfusi, in case you don't know, imfusi.
One of the songs that you first released, Ungas Bibali, that you did with some of the biggest musicians in the country. Tell us the story. I'm pretty sure it's not short.
I'm gonna try. I talk so much, and that's like the biggest thing. I talk a lot, so it's easy for me to just get lost. Okay, let's get into it. So I got introduced to Platoon through a really incredible woman, Ulula Mamali. And how I met her, I was at a party. And you know what people do at parties? I did what people do at parties, except I had a guitar. So when I got lit, I was like, aha, let me whip it out. So I whipped it out. Unfortunately, I don't really recall the performance, but I do recall the outcome of the performance. Because I got reached out to by Lula, and she's like, hey, I just started a new job at this distributor called Platoon. And hey, would you like to come through, have a chat with us? We're interested. And also, I remember that night, and that's quite a long night, we remember, but hey, let's go. And long story short, I'm in studio and I get an invite. But Mamela, you're in studio, we're doing a meet and greet. And also, tomorrow, the following day, we'd be doing a showcase here, Platoon. And I then learned that Umsagi, Usulani, Maola, Ami Faku, and Aaron Allen Kane are part of Platoon, and they are part of this showcase. So let meet and greet us with these big dogs. And yeah, I had the shock of my life. But long story short, we meet in studio, and also Zolani comes through with a hum, and we all catch on it. And it's like, you know how it goes. And then we all caught on it. And we started writing. And yeah, it was a special moment. And it was such a beautiful thing. It was such a beautiful thing. And I think because we were not prepared to do it, it happened in that moment, and it felt like, aha. And we were writing songs to our younger selves. So it was such a beautiful moment. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever had gotten to experience. And it was the first time I got to experience Uba artist. I was like, no, the artist.
Do you have a song out of all the music that you've released that you go back to when you're feeling some type of way? It doesn't have to be sad.
Yeah, I have a mood song. undikuphendule is my mood song. Andikuthanda umamela ingoma ezandigowisa more than bandikowa. Yes, I love for my feelings to be represented.
You're not
but
one of those people who say buttons or rewinder because the sad part didn't hit like that.
no, I have snapped out of that toxic danger. No, we're no longer there. That was my teenage dark self. Me now, Sparkles. I do not like to go back to the sad parts. I want to enjoy the music. Ebum Nandin, Drum Pope did his thing there, and it's beautiful. So there are times when kuphinde kuthi qatha lamini yokuqala vele ndibasele ngiqonda kinto uyazi uba ndiyagowa but elokuvala elokuvala it's important to know who you are, man, and that's the kind of thing that will have you confident about a lot of things. Noba sekugowe kuqonda no ndiyazazi uba ndingubani. Things may not go according to plan, but they do go according to purpose, all in my favor. And when it doesn't work out, something is going to work out in my favor. So I've learned to make peace with a lot of supposed L's, and I've learned to redirect that and take that energy into something else. So yeah, okay, cheers guys. I will talk until forever comes. Have a good one.
With that, we've just wrapped up our second episode, What a Journey into the Artistic Heart of Bonga Kwana. And speaking of journeys, we are getting even closer to the main event. You absolutely do not want to miss the chance to witness Bonga's incredible artistic evolution. Live on Friday, September 26, 2025, right there at Wynberg Girls High School. This is your moment to be there again. You do not want to miss this, I promise you. To see firsthand how those early creative explorations, those formative musical whispers have truly blossomed into the award-winning artistry we celebrate today. IMIBONGO are available on Webtickets and Pick and Pay near you, so make sure you are following Bonga Kwana across all social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, don't forget to catch us right here next week for even more exclusive behind-the-scenes stories as we continue our exciting countdown to the big show.